what we've integrated into Designer is the ability to show completion due dates, which is a core feature of Moodle. It's been around forever, or almost forever. So what I can do here is I can say, okay, this page is supposed to be completed. I need to unlock the completion settings by, say, 19th of July, or let's say 18th of July. Let's be mean. So supposed to be completed yesterday, which is by nature mean. And let's say this one here, maybe supposed to be completed by the 22nd. So one in the future, one in the past. If I again look at this course, and let me make sure that I've got a student, yeah, I do, which has not yet completed those, because otherwise you can't see it properly. So I'm going to open this course again using a student who has not yet looked at this course. If you now look at this activity, it screams out that it's overdue because it's like in this very beautiful reddish color with a red bar and this completion tag. Whereas this page, which is supposed to be completed in the future, shows July 22nd. So it tells you in what we call completion badge that this is overdue and this is supposed to be completed soon. And we believe that it's a good thing to show when somebody should have done something or when somebody is supposed to do something in the future, not only on the timeline, on the course dashboard, on the Moodle dashboard, but also directly in the course. As you probably have noticed, there is no visual indication of the due dates if it's collapsed. But we can enable something to show that too. So if I go back to the settings of the course, sorry for that whole switching back and forth, but I need a student account to show something. So that's why I have to switch, unfortunately, a bit. What I can do is I can enable the course header. So the course header is also part of the Designer plugin. So I can say I want to show a progress bar, an enrollment start date, maybe a completion date, and the course due date. And I can also show the teacher of the course, provide that the course has a teacher. So in this case, the course does not yet have a teacher. So let me enroll somebody. I'm going to volunteer for that. Should, of course, give me the proper role for that. So I'm going to make myself a teacher. There we go. And now I've got the course start date and myself. What's missing here is the course completion setup. So let's take care of that. And now I've got a progress bar, which tells me that I have 6 criteria to complete. I can click on the progress bar to see which these are. Unfortunately, it looks a bit weird because all of those are just called the activity page. But that's the way this works, and it works fine once you have proper names for activities. So the idea is that you can just click on that, and then you can see exactly what you're supposed to do. If I open this up as a student, once more, let's pick student 2 here. I see the same thing, but I see that one is overdue, which is what I have here. If I click on that, this will update and I won't see any overdue activities anymore because I've completed the one which is supposed to be completed. If I complete the next one, I will just increase my progress and the section will be completed. The reason why most companies, to my knowledge, don't use this feature is because most companies don't have courses which are on a fixed schedule, which are paced for every student at the same time, which is a bummer because I really like this logic of a timeline. And that's why we built another tool to basically fix that problem. So let me show you. In this course, I did set up the due dates using core Moodle functionality by the expected completion due date, which is a great feature, but unfortunately it's rather limited because it can only use a fixed date. What we've done is we've implemented a plugin which we call time management. The time management is meant to help teachers to set relative dates for when a student should start an activity and when a student is supposed to finish it. The way this works is if I click here on manage dates with the appropriate rights, I can see these are my 3 sections. Europe, Americas, Africa. And these are the 6 activities in here. I will only be able to do this, of course, if, like the due date, if there's completion set up, because I cannot complete something, and therefore I cannot have a due date for a completion if completion is not set up. So what I can do here is I can say, okay, Europe is supposed to be completed, let's say, within 7 days. So the student is supposed to complete Europe within 7 days from their enrollment. And I personally believe that it's not really polite to just tell somebody when something is supposed to be done. You should also like tell them that you actually should do something before it's too late. And that's why we introduced the start date. So let's say you're supposed to start with this upon enrollment. For the next section, and I'm going to use a weekly schedule just for the sake of simplicity, and everybody understands the concept of 7 and multiplies of 7. I'm going to use 7 days. So after this is supposed to be completed, this is supposed to start. Same thing here. And this is just a matter of clicking 1,000 times. So bear with me for a second. I'm almost finished. So I'm going to repeat the same thing. And now I'm going to say, okay, the course is supposed to be completed after, let's say, 28 days. So 7 days in addition, maybe. So you're supposed to start with the activities in the first section, in the first week, if that makes sense, directly after you start the course. You're supposed to start Americas 7 days after the enrollment and Africa 14 days. And the completion dates are 1 week for each section. So 7 days after you start for Europe, 14 days after you start for Americas, and 21 days, 3 weeks for Africa. And the course due date, which doesn't exist in Moodle, we basically make that up, is 28 days. Once I click on Save and Generate Calendar Entries, it will generate calendar entries which are tied to the activity. And therefore, they will show up on the timeline, they will show up on the user's calendar, and therefore you can use, for example, the reminders plugin to send reminders for those dates. You can synchronize that to your company's calendar, whatever you want. But that's an easy way to basically have a schedule, a curriculum, a timed curriculum for a student. If I now go back to the course, I can open time management again. And I can see for student 1, how much progress that student has made, see when something was completed. And I can switch to other students here, provided that I have the appropriate capability, of course. I can send a message to the student to tell them, hey, you're doing a great job, you're in time, no overdue stuff, or the opposite, depending on what's necessary. You can go to the profile, and of course, that's all dependent on your capabilities. And you can print it. And obviously, I don't want you to print something. I just want to save you as a PDF, which you can use either as a snapshot, maybe as the base for a talk with the employee, or just maybe as a snapshot for compliance reasons, so that you can prove that something was done at a specific date, which is also helpful for the employee. Or maybe for a coach, which has something in his hands to use as the basis for a recommendation, for something to discuss with the manager, with the line manager, that the student needs more time, etc., etc. So that's like the idea behind all of this. So this tells you that 2 activities were completed already. Therefore, the course progress is 33%. The due date would be that, and the course completion is not yet achieved because not all has been completed. And once you do this here, let me log in as a student again. You see that these dates now reflect exactly what we have set up. So I have been enrolled into this, this course on July 19th, which would be today. Therefore, it's 19th for the first week. And the second week would be August, is that right? I hope so. Would be August 2nd. That would be 14 days after. Yeah, that makes sense. That's already completed, so it doesn't show the due date anymore because it's already completed. And here you see August 9th. So that's exactly like the 1, 2, 3 week due date logic. You see the same information up here if there's an overdue activity, which currently is not the case, fortunately. So this student is doing a good job.